Hey, it's Jason here. Welcome to onyouryogamat.com, and you are watching lesson 7 of this Learn Ashtanga Yoga in 3 months. Remembering in 3 months we're essentially just getting an overview, but we're about halfway through now, and we've been adding on to this traditional practice which begins with the sun salutations, standing postures, and last week in lesson 6 we learned the first few seated postures. We're going to do a recap on those seated postures and move on and get a little bit further through the beginning of this seated section of what is called the primary series. But it's important to build up this practice over time, so I would advise you to find lesson 5, which essentially is the sun salutations and the standing postures. Practice to that first, and then you can pick up the beginning of this lesson, lesson 7, in the right place to move through. That's something to work towards. If you want to just move in and just explore these seated postures and go back and do that, that's fine. But try and remember that you are building up this practice. So it's going to seem a little bit more challenging over time as it becomes longer. We're going to get started straight away with lesson 7. Remembering, if you want additional tips and advice, there will be a PDF to go with this lesson 7 out of this 13-week Learning Ashtanga Yoga course. We move through, if you've just done lesson 5, the recap, the sun salutations and the standing postures. From there, we came through to sitting after Dandasana, the warrior sequence. And from here, we're going to do a recap on the postures from last time and then move on and learn a few more. So just keep breathing. That's the most important thing we're doing. Don't worry if you're not doing everything. Just keep listening to your body. Just remember it's your practice. And moving on, we come through to Dandasana. Remember, we can sit on a block if that feels a little bit more comfortable for us to do so. It's straight legs. The legs are active, toes up towards the ceiling. It's the hands down by our sides. If you're sitting on a block, there's a good chance you're not going to get your palms down. Over time, and you can do this with the knees slightly soft, keep the legs active, the palms move down towards the mat. So we feel this support as we sit up and breathe in and out. There's a good chance just to reconnect, find the breath, this ujjayi breathing. You can start to slowly hear the breath swirl in through the nose, out through the nose. Try and feel the lungs filling with air as you inhale, emptying as you exhale. 5 breaths here, so 1 more breath. Moving into Paschimottanasana A, there's 2 forward bends coming up. So we could use a belt as we did last time, or you might have your hands on your shins or your ankles. The option would still be to be sitting on a block if that felt a little bit more comfortable. And taking it easy on the hamstrings, you could always keep the knees slightly bent. Inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, gently folding forward. You might just be here in the posture. That's 1 breath. Keep the shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. There's 2. Slightly soften the knees. You could even, if you wish to, you could possibly have a block underneath your knees just to take the edge off there. 3, 4, breathe in, out, and 5. Second Paschimottanasana. Now at some point from holding onto your big toes, you go further with the hands. But realistically, to begin with, you're just going to incrementally go a little bit further from wherever you were. Inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, possibly a little bit further, don't force anything. It's more about trying to maintain a bit of lift in the posture. We don't want to just collapse down, keep the legs active. It means trying to feel that spreading quality in the back, Paschimottanasana. So 4, 1 more breath here. 5, inhale, coming up. We take our first vinyasa. We explored this last week. We cross our ankles, knees to chest. Hands have got to be flat down. You could use 2 blocks either side of you if you wish to explore this with the finger spread. Inhale, press. We just tilt some weight forward. Don't worry, physically nothing much is happening, and we come back down. Whatever it takes, we can maybe get the hands in front of us, or to begin with, just take it a little bit steadier. Walk the feet back. Elbows in. So this vinyasa now very similar to the movements of the sun salutations. Inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back, cobra or upward facing dog. Either way, gently pressing back to downward facing dog just for a breath. And then we come back through. Inhale, look to the hands, whatever it takes. You could work at coming down onto the tops of the feet, over time crossing the ankles, but if you need to take the feet down to the side, sit back down. Ready for Purvottanasana. We slide the hands back. We feel some support here, make sure that feels okay on the wrists. We've got the option, if we need to soften the knees. Feet and legs a little bit closer over time. Inhale, press, lift the hips up, gently just keep looking forward. See your toes. Can you really press those big toes back away from you? Roll the shoulders back, keep lifting the hips, keep the body nice and strong. We're stretching out the front of the body. If you want to look slightly up, that's fine, but just relax the neck, make sure that feels okay there. If it's too much to lift up, you could always soften the knees and separate the feet. A few more breaths, wherever you are, is 4 and 5. Exhale, come back down, good. We cross our ankles, we keep varying the way we cross our ankles, knees to chest, hands flat, don't come onto your fingertips, palms down. Inhale, push, tilt a bit of weight forward. Over time, we're going to try and get the hands in front to press down further, make sure that feels okay on the knees, stepping or hopping the feet back. Knees down if you need to, elbows in, all the way down onto our fronts. Inhale, the options, lifting the chest, roll the shoulders back for cobra or something to work towards upward facing dog. Exhale, all the way back. Downward facing dog. Let the head hang. Inhale, look to the hands. Couple of steps, whatever it takes. Press into the mat, trying to get the feet back through. Sitting down. Now last week we said this next posture, Arda Bada Padma, Paschimottanasana, is quite a challenging posture. We actually did a variation on a posture where we brought our right foot to the inside of that left leg. We held the knee here. We could use a block or a couple of blocks just to support this knee. Now if you wish to go a little bit further here, and only if it feels okay on the knee, we, over time, take our left hand underneath this right foot and just try and feel a little bit of weight in this right leg to gently start moving this foot across. Now, if that's just not possible for you and it's a work in progress, my advice would be just come back to here and be here, a little bit further to go, or using the belt over that left foot to lift the chest. Exhale, just hang down. You'll round down a little bit more on this posture, but just keep the shoulders relaxed. Just gazing down at your knee. It's all about the rotation to your right hip, which is what over time will get this foot a little bit further across. It's really important not to force anything though. Just being here in this posture, a nice way in. We inhale, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale. We take in a lift, just a lift. Next few lessons we're going to be doing the whole vinyasa between sides for now. Inhale, spread the fingers, press, tilt a bit of weight forward. Exhale, come back down, and then we straighten out the legs. And we're doing this on the left side. So you can use a block for support. Make sure the knee feels okay, all about the rotation here. Keep this right leg nice and strong, some inward pressure. If you want to explore potentially over time and taking the steady going a little bit further, you're holding underneath your toe and supporting the knee, and you might just work the leg here. If you're doing this, I wouldn't worry too much about folding forward. Just get used to this movement first. If that feels a bit too intense, just to be here to lift the chest and fall forwards for 5 breaths. On the left side, smooth breath in, smooth breath out. Just keep the shoulders relaxed. The most important thing you're doing is breathing, and just keep making sure everything feels okay in this posture. And then inhale, lift the chest after 5 breaths. Coming up. Exhale, release. Now we are going to do the full vinyasa. If you're getting tired, you don't have to do all of these, just whatever feels okay. Crossing ankles, knees to chest, hands flat. Inhale, press, tilt some weight forward. Can you move the hands in front? Don't worry if you can't, just step the feet out. And keep varying the way. You might want to step the feet out to the side the other way. Elbows in. Try and keep the body nice and strong as you lower down. Inhale on the tops of the feet. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, gently rolling back over. Downward facing dog. Inhale, looking to the hands, whatever it takes. You can always sit down to the side and then straighten out the legs. Next posture is called Triang, Mukha, Ekapada, Paschimottanasana. And we are going to use a block for this posture. It makes it a lot more comfortable to sit up on a block, and 2 if you need to. Because for this posture, it's the nice counter stretch to the previous posture. We gently reverse fold this right leg back. You might just get to here. Try and relax this knee. You can roll this calf away a little bit if you can, and just make sure that feels okay. If that feels a bit intense, you could use another block. Over time, this foot is pointing back behind us. We could just be here for now. You can take your hands either side of your knees. Inhale, lift the chest. And maybe just, it's important before we fall forwards, which we will be doing eventually, just to feel stable here and secure in this posture. A few breaths. If you're going forward, just lift the chest and try and take your chest down, even if it's just a few degrees. Keep that left leg active. Make sure this feels okay in the right leg. Enough space there, it doesn't want to feel like it's compressing the knee. And then just coming up. We're just going to do that on the other side. Eventually there will be a vinyasa, but as we're sitting on our block, we're going to straighten out that right leg. Just a little bit of weight out to the right. It could be different on this side. Reverse folding that left leg back. You might want to roll the calf away. This foot, your left foot might just be off to the side to begin with. Over time, we're on the top of the foot with the toes pointing back. Knees can, over time, come a little bit closer together, but wherever you are, hands down by your side, by your knees, lift the chest, and then gently folding, just a few degrees forward. Keep breathing. Smooth breath in. Smooth breath out. Keep the shoulders relaxed, face relaxed. One more full deep breath here. To inhale, coming up. We're going to release the block. Gently straighten that left leg, and then we're taking a vinyasa where we cross the ankles, knees to chest, hands flat. Don't forget to really press down and tilt some weight forward. Push forward and then exhale back down, and whatever it takes, hands in front, feet out to the side, using 2 blocks if you want. If you use 2 blocks, chances are you might get a little bit more lift with the finger spread. Inhale, and then over time you can start pulling the feet back. You could stay on your blocks, or you could move them out of the way to step or hop the feet back up. As in, inhale on the tops of the feet, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, coming through to sitting. Whatever it takes to sit down. This next posture is called Janu Sirsasana, and there's 3 variations, A, B, and C. The A is very similar to the modification we did 2 postures previously for that slightly more complicated posture with the long name, Arda Bada Padma, Purvottanasana. So, support the knee, use a block or 2 blocks like this if you wish. You could hold the knee, try and feel some inward connection with the sole of that right foot on the inside of left leg. Fingers move forward. Wherever feels appropriate. Over time, we're reaching for the foot. Don't worry if you're not doing that yet. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, folding forwards. 5 steady breaths here. Smooth breath in. And out. Nice long breath in. And out. After 5 breaths, inhale, coming up. We're going to take a vinyasa now. How would this feel between sides? Crossing ankles, knees to chest, fingers spread. Press, tilt some weight forward. You might get a rocking motion. Just take it easy on the knees and just make sure that feels okay on the feet. And then step or hop the feet back, elbows in. Remember, you can put your knees down if you're getting tired. You might be all the way down on your chest. Wherever you are, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Further to go always is the upward facing dog with the thighs off the ground. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. And just keep the knees soft if you need to. Inhale, stepping or hopping through. Sitting down, straightening out the legs. And then the left side of that posture. Again, if you wish to use blocks, over time, take it easy on that left knee, the sole of the left foot a little bit higher. You could always start a little bit lower down if it feels a bit too intense. Just be here. Gravity will just start moving this knee down. You might feel like you're slightly off to the left. Make sure you feel centered. Hands just slightly forwards. Keep this right leg pleasantly active. Lift the chest. Exhale, you might just be falling forward a few degrees. There's lots of forward bends in this primary Ashtanga yoga series, so just take each one nice and steady. It's more about just maintaining that connection with the breath as you breathe in and you breathe out. Smooth breath in. Smooth breath out. And then inhale, coming up. Going to take another vinyasa. Just keep varying the way you cross your ankles. If you are getting tired, just have a few breaths out here. Ideally, you want to try and keep the knees drawn in if that feels okay on the knees, so you're nice and compact. Imagine you're in a fairly small space. Slightly lean into it, fingers spread. Inhale, press, push. Maybe the hips have just come off the ground. Exhale, come back down. We can roll forwards to get the feet back. Remember, if it's still a little bit too much, just step them back. Whatever it takes, though, just keep breathing through these vinyasas. Elbows in as you lower down. Inhale on the tops of the feet. Lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, pushing back. Downward facing dog. We're going to inhale, look to the hands. Jumping or stepping the feet through, whatever it takes. Sit back down. So we said there's 3 variations of Janu Sirsasana. A, which we've just done. B, which we're doing now. It's always right side first in Ashtanga yoga practices. So right foot comes in. Now here, We're going to just keep this foot in the same place, trying to keep the toes forward. Make sure this knee feels okay. Again, if you want to use a block. A little bit unusual, this movement, to try and lift up, and we're aiming to sit squarely on that right heel. So that would mean we push, we move slightly forwards and slightly across. Now the sensation of sitting on your heel to begin with might feel quite peculiar. So I just encourage you just to be with this movement here, just getting used to that. Just keep breathing into it. If it's too much, just back off. If it feels too intense on this knee, remember you could have it just slightly off the ground or maybe a block underneath it. We're just going to spend a few breaths here. Just exploring these postures just to begin with. Over time, we're actually folding forwards. I wouldn't worry about that just yet. And then release. We're just going to switch sides now. Right leg. Make sure your left foot feels okay. You could be here. You could be here. That heel obviously has got to be fairly close in. If you're still working here and you're just working on Janu Sirsasana, I just recommend you just work on this a little bit longer. There's no point trying to sit up until this heel is a little bit closer in. And then from there, we might just get to here. Downward pressure on the heel, sitting squarely on it, can just feel a little bit unusual to begin with. So just breathe in a few more breaths here. And just make sure that feels okay. Trying to face forwards as much as we can. I know it will probably feel like you're slightly off to the left. And then releasing from there. Going to take one more vinyasa, crossing ankles, hands down, press to tilt some weight forward, stepping or hopping the feet back, elbows in to lower down. Inhale on the tops of the feet, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back. Exhale, gently rolling back over the feet. And then we're going to come through and just do a variation. So we're going to come onto our knees, but we're going to keep the toes tucked like this and just be here. This is a great way in just to explore Janu Sirsasana C, the next posture that's coming up. But we're going to take that a little bit further next week in lesson 8. So just to be here, because part of the posture is to have the toes in this position, kind of at right angles to the feet. So we just need to get used to that. If that feels too intense as you lean back into it, you could just be here, leaning slightly forwards. And over time, could you sit back? And just get used to that sensation in the toes. Just gazing down, a few more breaths. And this posture is similar. It will be right side, left side, but just getting used to this movement to begin with. And then let's just move back through one last vinyasa. So putting a bit of weight into the hands, walking or stepping the feet back, knees down, elbows in. Inhale on the tops of the feet, lift the chest, roll the shoulders back wherever you are. Exhale, gently pressing back, down facing dog. And from down facing dog, looking to the hands, and whatever it takes, walking or stepping the feet through. We're going to sit back down, straighten out the legs. So moving through to the last few seated postures. Going to cross our ankles. Make sure you feel okay sitting here. Remember, we can sit up on a block if we wished. We put the back of the hands on the knees, thumb and index finger touch, remaining 3 fingers pointing down towards the ground. We sit up nice and tall. And you can see the similarity now between this seated posture and Dandasana, the first seated posture we did, where we draw the chin down towards the top of the chest and look at the space between the knees. 10 breaths here. We're going to switch sides halfway through. So we're going to breathe in, breathe out. Is 1. Smooth breath in. Smooth breath out. Is 2. Keep sitting up nice and tall as you inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Is 3. Keep the face relaxed. Nice deep breath in. Deep breath out. 4. Breathing in. And out. It's 5. Now we're going to carry on counting up to 10, but we're going to just cross our legs the other way around. Now you might not have explored this before, and if you haven't, it feels a little bit unusual to begin with to sit cross-legged the other way around. We're just going to get used to that. And again, if you wish to sit up on a block, you could. Replacing the back of the hands on the knees. Try and keep the arms straight. Imagine your profile from the side, it's fairly straight back. Don't worry if it feels like you're slightly drawn forwards, just lift the chest, keep the shoulders soft, gazing down at the space between the knees as you breathe in. Breathe out. That's 6. Smooth breath in. Out. 7. Keep your awareness tuned into the sensation of breathing. 8. 9. 10. That seated posture is called Padmasana. Eventually we'd sit with the legs crossed, but this is a great way in just to begin with. And the last seated posture is called Uplutihi, and that's where we spread the fingers and press the palms into the ground. And it's similar now to the Vinyasa, but for 10 breaths, can you press firmly down to the ground, try and keep the knees drawn in. Don't worry physically, nothing much is happening. Just make the effort to press down. Remember, it's from internally feeling your abdomen, not just drawing in, but almost lifting up. Uddiyana Bandha in yoga terms and Mula Bandha, this support here. Inhale, press, tilt and weight forward. As 1, just keep pressing down. 2, 3, you might have your hips off the ground. 4, don't worry if you don't, just press down. 5, keep slightly leaning into it. 6, a few more breaths, you're doing really well. 7, keep breathing. 8, keep pressing down. 9, 10, exhale, release. Well done. We're going to take our final posture, Shavasana, where we're going to take the feet nice and wide. We lie down on our backs, arms off to the side, palms up. At this point, if you wish just to pause and put some socks on or an extra layer of clothes, you want to maintain this nice heat we've built up. And then this sensation that we're just melting into the ground. Relax the shoulders, feel the back of the head on the mat. Space around all of the joints. And it's appropriate now to let go this awareness to the abdomen, which creates strength and lightness in the practice. You want to feel your tummy soft now. As you breathe in, it might rise and fall. And just let the breath come and go naturally. Whatever feels appropriate for you to breathe. If you wish, additionally in through the mouth and out through the mouth, let the breath just flow. Feel that space down the back of the throat. Feel the eyelids heavy, the eyes are closed now. Forehead soft. And this posture, Shavasana, as we've talked about before, just as important as all the other postures. Chance now for the body just to relax, to release. I want you to take your awareness from the top of your head and slowly move down the entire body, like you're doing a slow scan. So you can keep checking everything is completely free. The muscles in the face, back of the head gently on the mat. Feel the neck completely relaxed and the shoulders soft. Take your awareness down your arms, past the elbows, the wrists and the fingers. Imagine space between all of those joints. And then from the top of your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, down the back. Imagine the spine just settling into alignment all the way down to the lower back, where you can feel space around the hips. Just double check your abdomen, your tummy completely soft as you breathe in. Feel that sense of rising. As you breathe out, falling. And then continuing to take your awareness down the legs, past the knees, the ankles, and the toes, and imagine space around all of those joints. So can you find that place where it feels like you are floating in space, completely weightless, completely free? And you can repeat that in reverse from the toes, working your way upwards a few more times, completely let go. And trying to find some balance between the stillness, the physical stillness of this posture, and this steady quality of mind that is simply tuned inwards to the sensations throughout the body. So we feel we are present, using the breath as an anchor to keep us in this calm, tranquil place. And we're staying here for a few more moments. and then gently beginning to move the fingers and the toes. A little bit more movement into the hands and the feet. Gently taking the arms up, back behind you. Relax the shoulders. Wherever you get to with the hands on the ground or the mat behind your head, just pause there for a moment. If you wish, you can inhale and just take the fingers a little bit further back. Bring the feet together and feel that nice extension all the way through the body, down the legs to the toes, and pause there. And finally, we bend the knees. We draw the knees in towards the chest. We can reach the fingers round, slowly moving from side to side on the lower back. We stay in this curled up position and gently roll onto our right side. We can take this as an opportunity to gently open up the eyes, just to get used to our surroundings. And then, when we're ready, supporting ourselves, come up to sitting. Just nice, easy cross-leg, whatever feels comfortable for you. So, well done. That is the end of lesson 7. We're a good halfway through this Ashtanga yoga practice. Just keep staying with it. Just do your practice, a little bit of practice every day. If you can, throughout the next week or two, just don't rush into lesson 8. Just take it as steady as you need to keep recapping on lesson 5, the standing sequence, then replay lesson 7 a few times to where we are right now, and then whenever you feel ready, give it at least a week, you could explore lesson 8, where we move on through a few more seated postures. I look forward to seeing you next time on your yoga mat for lesson 8. Namaste.